Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Trey, and welcome back to a very, very special episode of the OverAchievers Podcast. That's right, it's episode 12, baby. It's the 1 year special. I'm really surprised we made it this far, to be honest. Joining me is my most precious guest, and the one who legitimately completely forgot we were doing this today, despite the fact that less than 12 hours ago we had discussed this, John.
Hooray, I'm here. I'm mostly on time, despite legitimately forgetting about it 3 minutes ago.
Now, in John's defense, he is, again, as he stated, only 3 minutes late, but the fact that, again, we talked about this last night and you somehow completely forgot, it boggles the mind.
Yeah, me too. I sat down at my computer, I just put my headphones on, I was about to start playing a game, and you texted me. You're like, you coming? I was like, shit. And so I ran upstairs to get water, ran back downstairs,
Oh, man.
and was only
That's
3
almost
minutes
worse. Because you were about to, you could have been, balls deep in a game.
I could have been. It's lucky I was doing, cleaning and stuff this morning, otherwise I probably would have been.
Huh. Oh, man.
Anyway, I'm here.
I'm crushed. I'm so crushed.
And for the record, the first time it's ever happened. We've been doing this for... Have we been doing it for a year? I mean, there's a year of podcasts, but did we start it a year ago?
As of... Well, okay, technically... Yes, because we recorded the episode in April to go up in May, but then I lost the footage and I had to put up episode 0.
Right, so yeah, we've been doing this for a year, and I've only forgotten once. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair.
We've also recorded, far ahead of this episode, too.
Yeah, but we don't need to worry about that.
No, but
That's
they're all done.
Circumstances.
Yeah.
Anyway, with all of that preamble out of the way, welcome to episode 12 on Reckoning Nightmare. So today, John and I are going to be discussing we're each going to be discussing one of our favorite games that we've gotten all achievements for. So, keep in mind, these may not be the best games in the world, but they're ones that mean something to us. With that being said, John, what game are you covering for us today?
Just before I get into my game, this is another episode. I still don't know what game you're doing, so it's going to be a nice surprise for me a bit later in the episode.
I've mentioned this 4 or 5 times.
I don't know, I can't keep track of all the podcasts because we're doing them so out of order. We did episode 16 or something
15
before this one.
Thank you, sir. And the next one I recorded with you will probably be 18.
See, it's very difficult for me to keep track. It was funny, I'm derailing again like I do. But,
That's okay.
Taylor was saying, whenever he has guests on, he'll tell them, the episode number, and, they'll call their, audio recording, whatever the episode number is. And I cannot for the life of me keep track of episode recordings, so my Word document for this episode is just called the game name. My audio recording files are always just John Podcast game name.
Yep.
Just everybody else can keep track of them, but I don't.
Well, and I don't even tell people hey, this is the episode we're doing. I tell them this is when we're recording, this is when the episode's going up, and then as I did with the intro with John, I will just say, welcome to episode insert number here, and then they'll just be like, okay, it's that number. I'll put, podcast episode that number and send it to me.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me, Chief.
Oof.
Anyway,
This really is a nightmare.
As Taylor just hinted at, the game I'm talking about today is Little Nightmares 2.
Okay.
Which is a game I talked about a little bit at the end of 2022 in my Games of the Year list, but I guess didn't go into too much detail about the achievements, but today we'll be talking about them at length.
No, I'm really curious about this one, because I have not played either the first or the second one.
Yeah, this is an interesting one for achievements. So I think it's a good one for the episode. And it is one of my favorite games, like Taylor mentioned. So, if people are watching the YouTube video, they'll be seeing footage of it right now. But if you're listening to the audio, Little Nightmares 2 is a 2.5D action puzzle platformer set in a big nightmarish world. You play as a young boy named Mono and are accompanied by a young girl wearing a yellow raincoat named Six, who is the protagonist of the first Little Nightmares game. And it's developed by Tarsier Studios and published by Bandai Namco.
Damn, okay. Getting real into it.
I write a little blurb for these now. It's easier than trying to make it all up off the top of my head.
That's fair. Okay. So, important question. How many achievements does this game have?
This one has 35, which I feel like is on the lower end of achievements we usually talk about on these.
Oh, absolutely it is.
Yeah, I think...
We average 50 to 50 plus normally.
Yeah, we kind of figured, like, after doing this for a year, the sweet spot, or, like, the average is probably around 50.
I would say so.
Yeah, 35.
That's short.
A little under, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, at least it's small. I shouldn't say it's short, because I don't know how long it took.
It is pretty short.
Okay, that's fair.
But, yeah, like, this game's very much a quality over quantity kind of game.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't take a ton of time to beat, but it looks absolutely phenomenal, and like the art style and art direction is really one of the driving forces of this game.
Yeah, it did look really interesting, and I'm kind of surprised because you're not a big fan of horror games or like the dark stuff, so I'm really surprised you picked this one in particular.
I mean, I like dark stuff. I'm not very good with horror, but I talked about this in the Game of the Year video. I can't deal with like first-person horror, but if it's like third-person or like this one, where it's like it's a side-scroller, it just gives me like that extra like degree of separation, I guess. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Huh.
Yeah. So like I can deal with like Resident Evil, for example, as long as it's not the new ones, because those are first-person.
Oh God. Okay. Interesting. So you could never do like VR Resident Evil.
Oh God, no! I don't think so. That would be way too scary for me.
Okay, I will see if I can get him to do it as a challenge for the podcast.
Wow, we'd need some pretty big numbers for me to do that.
You heard him, folks. Let's pump up those numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so was this your first time playing the game, John, or had you like played it previously and decided to go back to it?
So going for all achievements was actually the third time I played it.
Okay.
I picked up the first Little Nightmares, I would guess 2021, or maybe like very early 2022.
Yeah.
And liked it, thought it was pretty good. Not brilliant, not like mind-blowing, but pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then, for some reason, I wanted to try the second one as well. So I picked it up, played through it, and just absolutely loved the second one compared to the first one. And then didn't look at the achievements for it. I guess I still wasn't huge into all achievements at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I replayed it at Halloween with my girlfriend, and we had a great time playing it. And she played the game quite differently than I did. She was very keen to like explore every nook and cranny and find every collectible and stuff, which kind of made going for all achievements a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because we did most of the work just from how she played it. And then after we finished that, I realized that I was pretty close. I was fairly close to having all achievements. I say like fairly close. I was still missing 19, but like they all seemed like pretty doable.
Isn't that more than half though?
Yes.
So it was pretty close, but it's just I was missing more than half of them.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed very doable. I guess because the game's like quite short as well. Like it also seemed like a bite-sized challenge, I suppose. So yeah, I did one more playthrough to get the third, or to get all the achievements.
Okay. Interesting. So out of those 3 playthroughs, so before that, have you gone back since you got all achievements for like a 4th playthrough?
Only to record the footage that you're seeing in the YouTube video, but I'm not opposed to it. I would definitely replay it at some point, like maybe Halloween again or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how long did it take you to do all of these playthroughs? If it's such a short game.
So my Steam playtime says 11.3 hours.
Yeah.
And the average for completionist is 9 hours.
Huh.
Which I'm not super sure about. I'm pretty sure like the game takes about, I don't know, 6 hours to play like your first time. But if you know what you're doing, I think you can get through it in about like 2 to 3.
Oh.
I think
that
like, the speedrun
really
is
short.
like,
oh my god.
Yeah. I think the speedrun's like barely over an hour, and like I don't think there's like any major glitches in it either. So like you just play it very fast. But yeah, like it is quite short. But yeah, it's my playtime is 11.3 hours.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think out of this super short playtime were the hardest and easiest achievements for you?
So, before I get into these, this is one of those games where the achievement flavor text or description is not helpful in the slightest.
Oh no, I hate those.
So like, so the one I'm going to talk about is called Evasive Prey. And the description for that one is simply "not today!" exclamation mark.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And that's it. So if you're going for all achievements, you have to look up a guide for this pretty much.
Oh,
you can
no.
like maybe try and figure it out from some of the pictures, like, but no, definitely not.
Yeah.
So it's just funny because like we've talked about, like, I think pretty much every game I've talked about has been fairly self-explanatory with the achievement descriptions, but this is like easily the vaguest list of achievements I've ever done.
Oh no.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to give like extra context for each of them, I think.
Okay.
So hardest is Evasive Prey, which is where you make your way to the hunter's cabin without dying. The hunter's cabin is about halfway through the first chapter, the first level. So you basically have to go from the very start of the game to about halfway through the first level, which only takes about 25-30 minutes, I think.
Oh wow.
And you just have to do this without dying.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much impossible to do on your first blind playthrough because there are bear traps hidden in leaves and stuff like that. And if you don't know, oh, I have to pick up this acorn and throw it into the leaves to trigger all the bear traps, you're gonna die.
Oh. Yeah, that's not something I would think of.
No, it's a kind of a tricky one. I say it's the hardest one, but when I was recording footage for this, I managed to get all the way through the first chapter, like post Hunter's Cabin, without dying.
Oh, show off.
Yeah, so you're seeing some really good footage in the YouTube video if you're watching that.
All right then.
But yeah, like, I don't know. It's I guess most of the achievements aren't that hard, but this was definitely more of a challenge than pretty much all the other ones.
And what about the easiest achievement then?
So the easiest achievement is called Foraged, and the flavor text is "Nature is a terrifying thing."
Oh, okay.
Which is literally just complete chapter 1.
Oh.
So yeah, I feel like, yeah, the flavor text is fun. I'm gonna read them for all the
Oh my god,
achievements
yeah,
I
I'm
mentioned.
here for it.
Because they're just, I don't know, it's nice to see how absolutely useless they are.
Yeah. Now, I meant to ask this, is there DLC for this game?
There is, but it doesn't affect the achievements at all.
Oh, you son of a...
There's like a very tiny bit of DLC. I think it's like pretty cheap, but it gives you like a tiny little bit extra in the hunter's cabin, and it gives you an extra collectible hat, because there's collectible hats in this game.
All right then.
And you have to get all the hats to get all achievements, but the DLC hat does not count towards the achievement.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's nice that they don't take it away from you.
Mm-hmm. It's
Okay,
weird,
so
like Little Nightmares 1 had like 2 bits of DLC, which were like extra chapters, and Little Nightmares 2 just didn't, which is a shame because I would have liked a little bit more.
Well, isn't Little Nightmares 2 a prequel to Little Nightmares 1?
It is, yes.
So, I mean, it kind of, you already know where the story goes then.
Kind of, yeah, but I don't know, you could do like more prequel DLC, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know. I just want more Little Nightmares, and they're not doing a Little Nightmares 3, so it's kind of a shame.
What do you think they're gonna do next?
I have no idea. I think they like teased what they were doing next, and I cannot remember what it was, but...
Alright then.
Yeah, like obviously I love this game, so I'm gonna keep an eye on what Tarsia Studio does next.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
There is also, like, slightly related, there's... I don't remember who's developing it or publishing it, but there's an upcoming title called... Bramble and the Mountain King or something like that, which is like very similar.
I've seen things like that.
Yeah, very, very similar to Little Nightmares, so I'm hoping that'll like scratch my itch when it comes out.
Okay. So, outside of those achievements that, you'd already mentioned, what were the most and least fun for you then?
So the least fun is one called Merciful Feet, which the flavor text is tempting, so tempting.
What?
So this is in chapter 2 of the game in the school level.
Okay.
And there's an enemy, or like one of the school bullies, because those are like the enemies in the schoolroom level. One of these enemies is tied up or like chained up in a classroom, or like he's got like a collar and like the chain leads to like a peg in the ground behind him kind of thing. He's tethered, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
And so there's a metal pipe on the ground near him, and when he sees you, he'll lunge at you and attack you, but he'll get he'll get yanked back by his chain and fall down for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, you're meant to smash him to pieces with the iron pipe.
Yeah.
But this achievement is for not killing him with the iron pipe and instead going past him.
Oh.
And it's just very, very difficult to get past him, I found. It's really, really annoying. He recovers like before you're like all the way across. You have to like very carefully time where you're like making him yank himself back and stuff like that. It was quite tedious. It took a few tries to get past that a little bit.
Okay. Interesting. So it's kind of, it almost sounds like the chain jump from Mario 64.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly
Gotcha,
like that. And also, I mean, like the school bullies in the game are horrible, so it's very satisfying to smash them up with a pipe.
Yeah.
And this achievement, you don't get to smash them up, so it's not as fun.
Huh. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the most fun for you?
The most fun, there were honestly like several I could have picked for this. There's a lot of very good achievements, but I went for one called Monotones, which is funny because the character's name is Mono.
Ah.
And this one, the flavor text almost, I mean, in conjunction with the icon, you might be able to figure it out. It says, "My, what a curious song you play," and the picture is like a xylophone, I guess.
All right.
And so in the school level, there's a piano, and all you have to do is run back and forth along the piano a couple of times to make music, and then you get the achievement.
Okay, then. That does sound pretty easy, pretty fun.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of a fun one. It's, it lightens the mood because it is a very, very dark game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so that was a nice fun one.
Interesting. Okay, so what about the rarest achievement? Do you think that it deserves its spot?
No.
Oh, no.
So, obviously, the rarest is primetime content consumer, which is getting all the achievements.
Yeah.
Only 3.9% of people have that one, so we won't count that one. The rarest non-platinum achievement is called Popcorn.
Okay.
And it's movie night on the ward, all taken care of.
Yeah.
And so for this one, it's in the hospital level, which I think is level 4 or 3. I can't remember. I think it's 4. But you find a piece of corn in the hospital, and you throw it in a furnace.
Huh.
And that's it.
Oh, okay.
And like the furnace is like a room or 2 away from the corn at most.
Oh my god.
And 5.6% of people have this achievement.
What the hell?
And I have no idea why this is the rarest one.
Is it just something like people don't think of or they don't realize? Like, is that
It must be. It must be. Because, like, all the rarest ones are, like, weird things like that. But, like, I felt like by chapter 3 or 4, that's decently into the game. You'd think people would have figured out to kind of play around with the environment and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
And some of the other achievements, there's one for holding Six's hand for 6 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that one would be way, way rarer than this random one where you throw a bit of corn into a furnace, but no, this is the rarest one.
Okay then.
So no, like this is I firmly believe this should not be the rarest one.
I mean that's fair. That's so weird.
Mm-hmm. It's a different answer to that question. Normally it's like, oh yeah, that's like a really difficult thing to do. It makes sense.
Yeah, or like it's super obtuse or something.
Yeah. No, this one's I don't know. This one's kind of an oddball.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, well, so what was the most memorable achievement for you then, and what kind of helped it leave such an impression?
So the most memorable one for me was an unmissable story one. It's called True Colors, and it is where you find Six's raincoat. If you're familiar with Little Nightmares, you play as Six, the little girl in a bright yellow raincoat. And as Taylor mentioned, this is a prequel game, so when you find Six in Chapter 1, she doesn't have her raincoat, but I think at the end of Chapter 2, you find the raincoat and she puts it on, and it's a very cool moment, because, you know, if you've played the first one, you've now got the protagonist of the first game as your companion. Slightly, somewhat minimized by all of the promo material and advertising and screenshots having very clearly Six in her yellow raincoat in like everything for this game.
No, trailers can be garbage sometimes, and like promo materials can just expose way too much.
Even like in my Steam library, like the banner at the top, it just shows Six in her yellow raincoat. So like everywhere, it was like, I don't know. I feel like that would have been a really cool surprise moment, but I don't know. Maybe Bandai Namco is like, no, you need to show off that Six is in this game.
Why?
I don't know, but yeah, like, I thought that would have been such like an impactful moment if you were playing completely blind and didn't know about it. But even so, it was still the most memorable one for me.
That's fair. Okay. Is there an achievement you would remove from the game, and why?
No, they're all pretty good actually. There's a good balance of, you know, unmissable story ones and some challenging ones, collection ones, and just random fun ones. So no, they're all good.
Okay, that's good. So, are you able to soft lock yourself out of any of these achievements?
I mean, not really. Like if you miss a collectible at one point in a chapter, it's usually quite difficult to move backwards through levels. You can kind of only progress forward. Like a lot of times, like you'll fall out of a window and you won't be able to climb back up to it to go back a screen or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But it's you can load any chapter at any point from the main menu. So, you know, if you miss something halfway through Chapter 3 and you realize at the end, you just reload Chapter 3 and play through it all again.
Huh. Okay.
So, like, sort of, but not really at all.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many times do you need to play the game to actually get all achievements?
Like 1.01 times.
Wait, 1.0, explain.
So you can get pretty much all the achievements in one playthrough, but one of the achievements is to unlock all the hats.
Yeah.
And one of the hats you get for completing the game.
Okay.
So that makes sense. But there's a separate achievement for wearing the hat that you get for completing the game. So as long as I remember this right, you do have to boot it up, put on the hat, and then you're done.
Oh my god.
But yeah, pretty much just one playthrough. It's
kind of annoying.
I mean, it doesn't.
Feels like you should be able to just like hit continue and then just put on the hat, or like not have to wear the last one.
You might even be able to continue, but yeah, you do need to wear the last hat.
Oh my god. So
yeah,
maybe that's what this episode should be titled, The Last Hat.
The Last Hat. That's a pretty solid episode title.
So does the game reward you at all for getting all achievements outside of, I'm assuming, just, you know, numerous hats?
That was my answer.
Okay.
Like, I guess it doesn't reward you for getting all achievements, or you don't get a reward at the end of getting all achievements, but actually going for all the achievements is rewarding because you unlock all these really cool hats.
I mean, fair enough.
And there's several achievements tied to doing specific actions while wearing a certain hat. So
they're really going in on these hats, huh?
They loved the hats, and honestly, I loved the hats too. They were great.
Okay, so I guess that kind of answers the next question of, do the achievements feel rewarding?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Like I said, there's a really good balance of the unmissable story achievements, random fun ones, collectible ones. Yeah, they're all, and yeah, you get like tangible rewards when you get the hats. So I would say so.
Well, that's good. Okay.
I feel like I've already answered the next question too.
Yeah, right. You're answering all these, man. What the hell?
I am.
So, okay.
For the record, it does feel like the devs cared about the achievements. You know, they wrote like obscure flavor text for all of them instead of just saying like complete chapter 1. Like, I don't know. I think they definitely did.
Okay, that's
and
fair.
Like, I'm also like, after episode 10 of the podcast, whichever one was about the like achievement artwork.
Yeah, it was episode 10, correct.
I've been like paying a bit more attention to artwork for achievements, and Little Nightmares 2 has solid artwork, I would say.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you've started paying more attention to it, because it has hurt my soul.
I mean, like, not to derail too bad, but like when you were talking about, I think it was like Final Fantasy 15, where like all the story achievements had the exact same icon. I was like, wow.
Yeah, no, it's so bad.
Like, we thought like Dark Souls was like kind of lazy with achievement icons, but like that is another level.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I do appreciate when there's good achievement artwork, and Little Nightmares 2 has it for sure.
That's very good. Okay. Does the game require you to get 100% to get all achievements?
Yes. You have to collect all the hats, and you also have to find all glitching remains, which are just other collectibles that you find throughout the game. So yeah, you have to like 100% the collection, I guess.
Do the achievements feel unique in the genre? Now, I haven't played, as I said, Inside or Little Nightmares or Limbo, but I know they are similar, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. Like, obviously, like, complete Chapter 1 and stuff isn't that unique, but like I said, there's achievements for wearing specific hats and doing certain things, like, or like, not killing certain NPCs or enemies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I think definitely it has some pretty unique achievements.
Okay.
Although there was I played and speedran a game called A Juggler's Tale.
Yeah.
Which is kind of similar to Little Nightmares, a little bit similar. It's like also broken up into like 5 acts and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But one of the achievements in that was make it about halfway through Chapter 2 without dying, which I didn't think about until I was thinking about this question. And yeah. I guess, I guess they must have lifted that achievement from Little Nightmares. So for the most part, yes, there's unique achievements, but I don't know, maybe not so much after Little Nightmares 2 if developers are gonna take inspiration from their achievements like that.
So at the time it was unique, but it's maybe lost some of its je ne sais quoi since then.
Maybe a little bit, but I still think, like, wear the soccer hat and run into the goalpost is a pretty unique achievement.
That sounds great.
Yeah, there's lots of fun ones like that.
That's awesome. Okay, okay. And you already answered the next question about the guides. Linked to that will be in the description down below whenever John sends me the guide that he used.
Yeah, so I used 2 guides. One was by Wikela, and the other one was by Roundabout.
Okay.
So yeah, they were just very, very good guides.
Has this changed the way you look at the game, and do you regret going for all achievements?
Yeah, it did. No regrets. I had a great time. Like I said, it's quite short, not too much for commitment.
Yeah.
But it did make me have more of an appreciation for the level of detail in the environments and things like that, and like how well they were able to tuck away some of the collectibles and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yes, it did change the way I look at the game now, because I mean, the first time I played it, I probably like skipped some of these fun things, but like in the video version of the podcast, I made sure to do a couple of the fun achievement related actions, just because that is how I will play the game from now on. Like opening the fridge in the hunter's cabin is kind of fun, or throwing a paper plane out the schoolroom window.
It does sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the final and arguably, in my opinion, most important question: would you recommend other people go for all achievements?
Yeah, I think so. Like, How Long to Beat says 9 hours for completionist. If you know what you're doing, you can do it pretty quickly, I think, especially with a good guide. Yeah, it's a pretty easy recommendation.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's good to know. And how much does it go for on Steam on average? Like, what's it going rate?
It's like $40 or something.
Ooh, okay, a little steep.
Yeah, it's steep, but like that's what I meant when it's very much quality over quantity. Like, short game, but you're paying for it looking and sounding and playing really, really well.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it goes like pretty cheap now, which is not bad. Like it's only been out like a year and a half by the time this comes out.
It feels older though. Like I swear
know.
it feels older.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 2022.
I have no idea. I could just be talking out of my ass here.
I'm sure it was 2022.
Hang on, we gotta look this up.
Oh, it's February 21.
Okay, so it was okay. Okay, I was like, it feels older than last year.
Yes.
Oh, I was so confused.
You're right. So yeah, it does go like decently cheap nowadays.
Okay.
But yeah, it's excellent. I absolutely love that game.
No, that's awesome. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, we have reached the half point of the episode. So, by all means, please go check out the podcast. Link for that will be in the description down below. If you're listening to the podcast, check out the YouTube channel. And I want to know, what games would you like to see on the podcast? You know, I've been doing this for a year. I've got some other episodes lined up, and I primarily go based on what my guests like to play or have played. But, you know, doesn't mean I can't play different games. Let me know what you want to see, and I will consider covering them on the podcast. Keep in mind, I will be moving over to my laptop when I go over to Korea, and we'll have significantly less time to get all achievements in games, so I'm kind of trying to stack a few right now, just so I have more to talk about later in the podcast, but that doesn't mean I'm not open to suggestions, so please, by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. And with that, we're going to jump into my game.
What's your game?
My game, as I've told you multiple times, you seem to have forgotten, is Kingdoms of Amalur Re-reckoning. Now, I do need to specify it is Re-reckoning because
When the fuck did you tell me that?
months ago.
Okay, well, I am not going to remember that.
Wow. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this, everybody?
Yeah,
Wow.
That would not have been my guess. Sorry, go ahead.
So I will say, it is, you know, a quote remaster. I don't think they remastered a hell of a lot of the game. But it also didn't really need a remaster. Like, the graphics, for the most part, just hold up today. I don't
know.
I mean, okay.
It looks like WoW, I guess.
What? Excuse me?
Doesn't it? It looks exactly like World of Warcraft.
It does not. Have you ever played World of Warcraft? Are you blind?
Yes. No.
You sure?
They look so similar.
Sure disagree. Anyway, moving away from that. So in this game, which is a re-release, or rather remaster of a game that originally came out in 2011, around the time that Skyrim did, you play as the, quote, Fateless One. Basically, there's a giant war between the evil Fae and the good Fae, so the good guys and the bad guys. Your character dies, and then is brought back via the Well of Souls, which, in other words, untethers you from the threads of fate, meaning you can do whatever the hell you want, kill whoever you want, and change the world as we know it. You are just the chosen one with a little more of a legitimate reason behind it. It's just a third-person action RPG that lets you mix and match your classes, which I really appreciate. So, like, if you want to be a big, strong warrior who can also shoot a bow or fire off spells, go for it. Or if you want to be a mix of a warrior, thief, and a mage, the game is more than happy to let you do that too.
And it also plays like a single-player MMO.
It kind of does play like a single-player MMO. I will say it was meant to be an MMO at first.
Yeah, and you can definitely see that.
It got reworked into a single-player game. It also almost completely bankrupted the state of Rhode Island.
Right. Because
they had bankrolled this company started by a former baseball player to make this game that then flopped financially. And it's a whole mess. If you're ever curious about it, by all means, look it up. It's a hilariously interesting story.
Yeah, the history of this game is wild. Like, I think, like, all the lore and everything was written by, like, was it, like, R.A. Salvatore?
It was written by R.A. Salvatore, yes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's nuts.
Incredible.
There's some huge names attached to this game. And
yeah, it's really interesting.
In my opinion, it's an underrated gem. Like, it has its flaws, absolutely. But I still think it's a wonderful game, and I much prefer it to Skyrim.
I've got a fun little story about this game.
Oh no.
I did one stream of this game when I streamed, and that's the only stream that Chris ever watched. So that's fun.
That's okay then. That's not what I expected. Like, I had no idea where that was going, but it's just that's absolutely not what I expected. Huh.
You played the original, right?
I did play the original on both the Xbox 360 and on PC, and this is actually has inspired one of the most frustrating questions that I've ever had on the podcast, because I think about it every day.
Oh, interesting.
And it haunts my nightmares, man.
That's just weird, because like the last podcast we recorded was like what was meant to be episode 1. And the game you picked there, you also played on Xbox, and then played like the remaster on Steam.
Yeah, I mean, like I was an Xbox kid, man, and I
guess,
loved being able to go back and play games that I played on my Xbox that I hadn't gotten all achievements for, that I had like debated doing, because I was still an achievement hunter back then, but I'd never actually gotten all achievements for any of the games. I had gotten like 99% of them for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 of them, but then I just never fully completed one.
Right. Okay, so how many achievements does this one have?
So this one I had to break down between the base game and the DLC. So
right.
With Re-reckoning, it did also come out with new DLC about a year later, which added achievements and actually pissed me off because it took away my Steam Blue Ribbon. So collectively, it has the glorious number of 69.
Nice.
Now the base game has 62, therefore the DLC has 7.
Interesting. That's weird.
Sorry, I should rephrase. There were DLCs that came like just packaged into the remastered edition, and I don't know. There were 3 DLCs, and I don't know how many achievements each of those had attached to them. So I am including those 3 DLCs that came out like when the game originally released, or much closer to that, in that 62. So before those DLCs, it was even less.
61 in the base game.
It was less than 61.
What?
I think it added like, I want to say 15, maybe 20 achievements between the 3 DLCs, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay. Just like the total for the non-remastered was 61 achievements. Unless your Steam has one more than I do.
Oh, no, it should have 60. Maybe it is 61. I just did my math.
Not that it makes much of a difference.
No, but like it's one of the 2.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the DLC for the remaster did add like 8 achievements.
With the DLC that came with it, which is the Fatesworn DLC.
Right.
It's weird because technically there's 4 DLCs now, but only one of them is one that was treated as a DLC since this re-release, and they have taken the original off Steam. So you can only get the remaster or nothing.
Oh, did they take the original off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which I don't agree with that practice. I don't like that practice, but I still own the original, and I won't go back and get all achievements for that because of reasons I'll get into.
Okay. So this was obviously not your first time playing it.
No.
I guess
it was like my third.
Okay. I assume you did not get all achievements in like either the Xbox or the non-remaster on Steam?
No, so I kind of stopped on Xbox again. I just didn't go as hard on achievements as I do nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And on the original version, it is in relation to question 11, which I will get into later on because I have a lot to say about it.
Okay. What? Actually, this isn't a question, but when did you get all achievements for this one? Like, is this a fairly recent one?
Oh no, this was a long time ago. Give me a second here. When was my last achievement? December 22nd, 2021.
Okay, so you did all achievements
about a year and a bit ago.
Okay, and like the same year it released, so like you were
yes,
like right on.
I was waiting for this. They took away my goddamn ribbon, and I was getting it back.
Right.
Nobody takes my ribbon.
Okay. Have you returned to the game since getting all achievements?
So, first of all, yes, to record footage, but also because they released a small side quest that had no real impact on the game that I went and had to do just for the sake of my own sanity.
Okay. Just for your like internal achievement counter.
Spoiler warning, that will be in the video, so if you don't want this like super mundane, very small, new side quest spoiled for you, just listen to the audio version.
Okay. I assume that's not going to be a big deal for...
Oh, no, it's absolutely not. I was really hoping it would be.
I mean, it didn't have an achievement tied to it. It couldn't be that big.
No.
Okay, so how long did it take you to get all achievements in this one?
So it took me about 82 hours total. So here's the thing. I did it over technically two playthroughs because I had my base playthrough, went through and collected everything. So that was 50 hours. I had my hard difficulty playthrough, that was 20 hours, and then an additional 12 hours to do the Fate Sworn DLC.
Okay. What's the average?
Oh god, I actually didn't look that up, and I should have.
Damn it.
How long?
It's always one of the most interesting things to me, like how like our total playtime compares to like an average.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and I gotta start doing that myself. Oh, are you? Okay, wait. Hang on here.
Hang on. Taylor spent like 40 more hours than he had to.
No, this says completion is 104 hours, but I question that.
Okay, I don't know.
Just because that seems like there's no way I could do it in like 80% of the time as normal people.
Well, I don't know. So I don't know. I'm usually below the average, and I feel like
I'm sometimes either average or slightly above, but like I don't feel I would be that low below it.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know what they're smoking here. Although it does say reckoning, not re-reckoning, so maybe that's it.
Oh, so that's the original.
Yeah. So hang on. Okay, re-reckoning. Here we go. 90 hours. So it's even less.
Okay. Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay.
How?
I think that's more realistic.
How does the remaster take less time? I wonder.
Maybe they fixed some things. I don't know.
Maybe. How interesting.
Either that or people just like figured some stuff. I don't know, man.
Maybe like I don't know, less people played the remaster than the original, so the numbers weren't like as wildly different.
Maybe.
Interesting. That's fun.
But like even the main story, yeah, it's less main and plus sides is a little less. Huh.
Because yeah, like it's all like users submitting their playtime and stuff. So
yeah,
maybe just less variety in how people played the remaster.
Yeah, people just got good.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I mean, like you said, the original came out in 2011. Like,
yeah, people would have had time to grow up and figure things out.
Yeah, and also like, I don't know. Nowadays, you can Google like any obscure thing for a game, and like Google will tell you right away like what it is. But yeah. Maybe 2011 like guides were a little less prevalent. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't look back then.
Okay. What was the hardest achievement?
Okay, so I again broke this down into just like regular and Fate Sworn.
Okay.
So the hardest for me was definitely Destiny dominated in the base game. So just beating the game on hard mode.
Okay.
Evidently, hard difficulty, you can't just change it right at the end of the game like you can with some games.
Okay. So you have to do like a full playthrough on hard. Is it hard?
Not really if you know what you're doing.
Okay.
Like you can really over gear and overspec yourself.
Right. Okay. That sounds perfect for a second playthrough.
Right.
When you know what you're doing.
The DLC was customer service, so complete all side quests. Just because it took a while. Like there's a lot of side quests. It's a big RPG.
Okay. Oh, so the complete all side quests, even though it's like a DLC achievement, it includes the base game side quests?
I think so. I had already done all the base game side quests by the time that I'd gotten to the DLC, so I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay, so it might have taken away that achievement for you until you did the DLC side quests as well.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I understand. Okay.
And then in terms of easiest, for the base game, it's just called Jailbreak. You just break yourself out of jail. It's really not hard. And for the DLC, it was called Six Pack. So you're not drinking, but you get a number of different summoning skills, especially with the DLC. So it's just have 6 summons active at one time.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
So like you got to mix some summoning skills that you got from before the DLC with the new DLC skills, and then you're good to go.
Okay. That's fun. That's a fun achievement.
Yeah, like it's nothing too much.
No. Okay, outside of those ones, what were the most and least fun?
Base, do you want least or most fun? First.
Let's do least fun.
Okay, so for the base game, it is, and then there were none, so get 500 ability kills. This means, like your different skills with your magic or your bows or sword or whatever. Like, it's not just a regular attack. You have to use an active skill and it does primarily fall in the magic tree, so like you do need to spec into magic, and you can respec at any time, but you do need to spec into magic for it. But just using it so much and getting so many kills is just so tedious. Like, you can play through the whole game and you'll probably get, 300 or 400, but then you're still left to grind out that last 100 or so.
Oh
It's
boy.
like, there's a spot near the last city where you can just continually kill guards as they're coming out of this bar, because they'll keep coming at you. And you
Okay.
just kill them one by one.
Wow, that sounds very tedious.
It was.
Jeez. Yeah, that's not a fun one.
No. And then for the DLC, I put Black Hole, so you gotta kill someone with magic after you put one on 100 negative stacks on them. So it's a whole system from the DLC about stacking negative effects on them. And it's pretty easy to stack them. It just takes a long time to get that 100 stacks without killing them. And then you have to kill them making sure you use magic.
Okay.
So it's real tedious, because if you
Yeah.
accidentally hit them with a sword, or if a bomb goes off and they blow up, and it's just, your stacks are gone.
I see. So yeah, just another very tedious and like specific one, I guess.
Yeah. And like, it's not necessarily hard, it's just not fun.
It's not fun. Yeah.
And then,
That's fair.
okay, so the funnest ones for the base game, and people are going to judge me for this, it's called Streaker. So
Excuse me.
So like in many RPGs, when you're not wearing any equipment, you're just kind of like naked with your underwear on. So you just have to go around and talk to, I think it's like, it's either 1 or 5 people just wearing nothing.
Okay.
And you just get this achievement for being a streaker.
I see.
It's just stupid and fun. It's
That's-
like one of the last achievements I ever did.
That's a fun one. Yeah, that sounds fun.
And then for the DLC, I picked the floor is lava. So the final boss does like these big lava attacks, and there won't be any footage of this in the video. And there's a way you have to kill him without destroying these lava fields, or like destroying the generators that make them.
Okay.
And it's just, I don't know, it was a fun little challenge to add to the final boss.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what was the rarest achievement?
So for the base game, it's called Life of Crime, which is get caught committing 25 crimes. In other words, you just have to like steal in front of someone and then either pay the fine or go to jail. People who have played Skyrim or any RPG are familiar with this.
Right.
It's just boring. It's just boring.
Okay.
And like, it's only 25 times. The problem is, if you're over leveled, you're just gonna pickpocket people like too well to the point where you won't get caught.
Oh, I see.
Or like, you can steal from drawers and stuff. You have to make sure somebody's watching, which can be harder than you want it to be sometimes.
Interesting.
So
So it's just,
I think
I don't know, it's just like a difficult one to get.
it can be if you do it too late in the game, or like if you're
Yeah.
early game, you sometimes just don't have enough money to pay off all your debts. So like, you have to keep breaking out of jail or something, and you can't just like, commit a crime, go to jail, and then break out of jail, and then kill the guard. You have to like commit a crime, get caught, pay it off so you're innocent again, and then commit another crime, pay it off,
Okay.
commit it again. Like, you can't kill the guard. You have to be not wanted and then wanted.
Right. Interesting.
And then for the DLC, it's an achievement called Black Hole, which I had the description for somewhere. Oh, right, sorry. That's the kill an enemy with magic after putting 100 negative stacks on them.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
So,
Do
again,
they-
that's just tedious and not fun.
Yeah. And those make sense as the rarest ones, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like, the Life of Crime is just boring, but then the Black Hole is, like, it can be genuinely difficult, and I can absolutely see that being something people don't want to go for.
Right. What was the most memorable achievement for you, and what made such an impression?
So, for the base game, it's called Lore Master. So, in the game, there are these hidden lore stones that when you collect, I think each set has 5, that tell a small little story. So, it's kind of
Right.
like an audio log. But the other thing about the lore stones is there's 182 of them, so not all of them are a set of 5. But each set will give you a small percentage bonus. Like, it'll give you 5% poison resistance, or an additional 1% XP is like a permanent bonus kind of a thing.
Right.
And I don't know, I liked the storytelling of the lore stones, and it really fit in with the theme of the world. Like, it made it feel more fleshed out, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then the DLC, I had Walking Fortress, which I somehow didn't write the description down for because I'm the dumb. So give me a moment here. Oh yeah, it's parried a block-breaking attack. I don't know, it was just... I do remember why I put this down at the time, because I think like the block-breaking attacks, like these big, massive things, and when you parry it, you just feel really good. It's one of those power trip ones.
Right, yeah.
And some of them are a pain in the ass to parry.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an achievement you would remove from the game?
No, surprisingly not.
Okay,
You know,
wow, with like
none
70
of these feel
achievements.
super terrible.
Okay. Is there an action or way of playing that you think there should be an official achievement for?
Not really. Like, this game lets you do almost anything and encourages you to do almost everything, so
Okay.
I'm not, I don't feel it's lacking or missing on anything.
Right, and it does have almost 70 achievements, so it's kind of enough.
Yeah.
It's covered everything. Okay, this is the question you were hinting at. Are you able to soft block yourself out of any achievements?
So I will give you a hint as to what I've written down in my version of the script, and that is just...
Okay. Wow, I'm ready for this.
So, I'm pretty sure that's not going to get picked up in Audacity. It's just way too loud. So, and I've explained this to Fitz in a later episode that we've already recorded. John, have you ever played a game for 40 hours, and I just 4-0, gotten, 85% of the way through, and then realized you done f***ed up?
I'm sure there have been games I've done that for sure, yeah.
Because guess what? I done f***ed up.
Oh, man. Okay, tell me.
So there's a main story quest when you get to the last area of the base game, where you have to destroy these 3 red crystals.
Okay.
And I already knew about it going in because I'd played it on the Xbox version. I was like, okay, cool. And, I'm the type of person to just go around the entire map, do all the side quests, and then just go back and do the main quest. I'm that asshole.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll destroy these red crystals, and then I'll go accept the quest. Turns out, I had to Google this, if you destroy the red crystals before you start the quest, it soft locks the entire game, and because it was a main story quest, I couldn't, restart it. And I had given up on that point I had given up at that point on the main game because the remaster had been announced. I was like, I'll just do that, because I was planning to go for all achievements in the base game before the remaster.
Okay.
And that didn't happen.
So doing the red crystals, like, locks you into the end of the game kind of thing?
No, doing the red crystals means you can't complete the main quest line.
Oh!
So, like, the quest is go destroy the crystals, but if you destroy them before you accept that quest, the quest just breaks and you can't progress anymore. They don't respawn the crystals and it doesn't count them as destroyed. They just don't exist in the game anymore.
So it's just a bug?
It's just a bug.
What? That's
So I lost 40 hours.
Oh
and
my god.
most of that playthrough. And I just got so mad that I didn't go back until the remaster.
Jesus. Do you know if that was fixed in the remaster?
I didn't want to take the risk.
Oh man, I'm very curious now. That's insane. Wow, an actual game-breaking bug that loses you a 40-hour playthrough.
Yep.
I feel like you didn't up in that situation. Like, that's the game fucking up.
No, absolutely, but it's because I use outside knowledge. I metagamed, and they punished me for it.
Right. Oh man, that's brutal.
Oh.
So yes, you're able to softlock yourself out of several achievements.
Yep, and that is why this question exists, because it haunts my nightmares.
I see.
Thinking about those red crystals.
Oh, this is one of my favorite questions, so I'm glad it exists.
Is it now one of your favorite questions, or was it before?
No, it was before.
Okay.
I think it's interesting if you're able to, like, softlock your game.
Right.
Okay, how many times do you need to play to get all achievements?
So, okay, the answer, as per usual, is technically once, but there is no way I was going to do hard difficulty and go for all of, like, the miscellaneous side achievements and everything.
Right.
Especially because there's one, similar to Borderlands, actually, where you have to kill an enemy 4 levels higher than you, and that's such a pain
Ooh.
on the hardest difficulty.
Okay, yeah. So it's more like do your first playthrough and do on normal, get all the side achievements.
Yeah,
and then do a
do all the
follow-up
side
on
quests, do all
hard.
the faction quests. Even on hard mode, you can just you can sprint the main story and still be fine for the most part.
Okay.
Because that one feels like they've kind of scaled that one to you more so than the others.
Okay. Does the game reward you for getting all achievements?
No. So it does the typical thing where it rewards you for doing the actions of getting the achievements, but there's nothing tangible that comes from it.
Okay. God, have we ever given a proper yes to that question?
I don't know. I feel like there has to be at least one case, but nothing that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, me neither. Do the achievements feel rewarding?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are your stereotypical RPG fare. Complete this faction quest or kill this big boss. I mean, they're fun. Some of them are fun, and they encourage you to engage with the mechanics. So some of them, yes, and some of them just no.
Okay. Does it feel like the devs cared about the achievements?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's nothing that goes out of its way to be a pain in the ass, and they all have unique artwork. They all have decent descriptions, thank God.
That's good.
And I don't know, it feels like they definitely put the time and care in the beginning, and then just kind of didn't do much to have an in-game reward system for it.
Right. But most games we talk about don't seem to.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, I do want to say, I was just looking this up. So I got the original Perfectionist achievement, so get all achievements for the base game of Remaster on February 22nd, 2021. And I got my last achievement for the DLC on December 22nd, 2021.
Oh, okay.
So almost a year later.
Damn.
So 10 months to the day later.
Jeez. I don't remember when the DLC came out in relation to the main game, actually.
Came out about almost a year after release.
Okay.
If not a full year. Hang on, what was my first achievement? So my first achievement was September 13th, 2020.
Okay.
So it
came out on the 8th.
And it came out in 2021. So yeah, it came out about a year later.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess, that's 2020 was when I streamed, so.
Oh, those were the days.
Ugh, were they? Do the achievements require you to get 100% in the game?
They require you to get 99%.
Okay.
There are a bunch of what they call tasks, the little things that kind of the repeatable fetch quests, or the really small stuff that doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But you do have to get all side quests, all main quests, all faction quests. You do have to at least max out each, or sort of max out each tree, in terms of warrior, fighter, and mage, because you have to unlock your ultimate destiny. But yeah, it requires you to do 99% of stuff.
Okay. I think you've already sort of talked about this, but do the achievements feel unique in the genre of RPG?
For the most part, no, in terms of their content, but I will say they do have a much better sense of humor than a lot. There's an achievement for finding this woman's severed hand, and the achievement is give her a hand with a severed hand as the image.
Wow, very good.
There's Manic Pixie Dream Elf, where you have to romance this one character who's bananas. So you'll see her in the footage if you're watching on YouTube. she's crazy.
Okay.
And just the streaker achievement.
Yeah.
And just some of the achievement names are really funny, and some of the things you have to do are funny. So I think they had fun with it more so than a lot of devs do.
Okay. That's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
Did you use any guides for this?
Oh god, yes, I did have to use some guides when completing some side quests in the Fatesworn DLC. So
Oh,
I
okay.
will, and it's kind of annoying because I had played it like before there were a lot of guides out because I'd played it so close to release,
Right.
and I was like, how the hell do I do this? So I kind of had to wait a little bit.
Okay.
But I will include a link to that in the description down below.
Good, good. Has doing this changed the way you look at the game?
I don't think so. I mean, it was one of the first ever games I actually wanted to go for all achievements for right off the bat, and I don't regret it at all. I think it was a lot of fun, and I don't know. I will advocate for this game as one of my all-time favorites, like ever.
Wow.
Among like along with Sleeping Dogs, with Dragon Age Origins, with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like it's one of the greats for me.
Right.
So I don't think I could ever regret going for all achievements.
Okay, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah.
And last question, would you recommend other people go for all achievements?
Absolutely. I love this game to death. I understand it's a hell of a commitment for some people. They hear 80 hours and they go, ooh, I don't know if I have time for that.
Yeah.
But truly, it's a game that gives you more freedom, in my opinion, than Skyrim does. Like Skyrim, yes, you can spec into a whole bunch of different trees, but a lot of them don't amount to anything. This one is just a really fun power trip, a nice, in my opinion, a really nice looking game. Whether or not John agrees with me is besides the point.
I do think it looks good.
It does not look
looks
like World of
WoW.
Warcraft.
It does.
But no, I truly think it's a great casual RPG to sink your teeth into.
Yeah,
It's a great way to waste almost 100 hours. There's a whole bunch of really interesting characters in this. And it's just, I don't know, it's a real good time where you just play this ridiculously overpowered god who encourages people to just jump off a cliff because you can just... Well, there's this one guy, right? So there's this character named Agarth who is a Fate Weaver and he becomes your best friend, who gets really depressed because A, he knows when he's gonna die, B, he knows when his friends are gonna die because he can see the threads of fate, but then you come in and, minor spoiler, you change his fate. You stop him from dying when he was supposed to die, and now he legitimately doesn't know what to do with his life. So he goes into a spiral of drinking and potentially trying to kill himself.
Oh my.
Like, you have this spectacular power that, I get all chosen ones to some degree have in, every stereotypical fantasy story, but they deal with the ramifications of what that means in this game. And the Fatesworn DLC is, you have to go somewhere else because your mere existence is unraveling the threads of fate for everyone around you. So you go to this other place and then you defeat this almighty chaos god. Spoilers, but whatever. And then you end the game by going off to this far, like this even more distant land, so that you can keep the ones you love safe from your very existence, completely twisting what fate had to store for them.
Right. That's pretty cool. It does sound like, I mean, I played like a decent amount of the first one. It's a cool game. It's
a fantastic game. So yes, absolutely recommend it. Pull up a guide, but it's not something that's going to be super difficult.
Right. It's time, but not like skill commitment, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, that brings us to the end of the episode and the end of our 1-year anniversary. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know the channel hasn't grown a hell of a lot this year, and I'm hoping it grows a little more next year, but for those of you who have come, those you've watched, who stayed, thank you. It means the world to me. I hope to make this content for a while longer. Don't know how long it's going to be, but we'll figure it out. John, thank you as ever for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Love doing it.
Awesome. And on that, we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.